welcome to Newfoundland and Labrador Studies 2205. This is Unit 3, The Country Grows, Section 3, Lesson 5, Video 2, on Encroachment on Metis and Mi'kmaq. The Labrador Métis, now the Southern Labrador Inuit, blended qualities of their Indigenous and European ancestors. In the early 20th century, most were involved in the fur trade. The people who lived in the Lake Melville region became the primary suppliers of fur to the Hudson's Bay Company posts located there. Some trades with the Réveillon Frères Trapping Company resulted in better fur prices for trappers, until the HBC bought the company in 1936. Although many southern Labrador Inuit lived in near isolation in the wintertime to trap, some families resided in the Northwest River or Mud Lake region and reaped the European benefits there. In 1904, a lumber operation opened in Lake Melville and employed people for cash wages as opposed to credit in the fur industry. In addition, a year-round hospital was opened in 1912 and a public school in Muddy Bay near Cartwright in 1920. Let's talk about the life of a trapper. It was one of isolation. Trappers had an extensive network of trap lines far away from their homes. A trap line extended in a zigzag pattern with 200 to 300 traps set half a kilometer apart along the way. Trappers built several small tilts along the line where they could work and sleep. Southern Labrador Inuit trap lines usually remained within a family for generations, sometimes being rented to another person for a season. Trap lines were often set 15 kilometers apart to avoid disturbing someone else's line. Trap lines began to overlap, though, with the Innu in the 1930s as the fur trade grew. The life of a trapper's wife was also difficult, with her husband gone for long periods of time and having their children to care for all alone. A trapper's wife would have to do her own work around the home and her husband's work when he was away. Finally, let's talk about the Mi'kmaq. Mi'kmaq continued their interactions with French and English settlers through the 1800s. As more English people moved onto Mi'kmaq lands, Mi'kmaq moved to Metis and other communities such as Glenwood and the Bay St. George area. Originally, Metis was a semi-permanent hunting area before it became a permanent settlement in 1822. Also, we have the railway and the caribou hunt. No matter where Mi'kmaq lived, European settlers and expansion affected their way of life. The expansion of the railroad, combined with opening the interior, destroyed the caribou habitat. It disrupted the ecological balance that was present for thousands of years on the island. Estimates suggest that between 200 and 300,000 caribou were on the island in 1900. They were near extinction by 1930. This decline of caribou, a staple in the Mi'kmaq diet, was devastating to the people. Without a steady supply of their natural food source, it became difficult for Mi'kmaq to live in the interior. Additionally, the decline of the international fur trade in the 1930s meant trapping was no longer profitable. Many Mi'kmaq became guides for English hunters and explorers, such as Jim John, who is depicted here. I found a lot of photos of him on the room's archives, if you're interested in learning a bit more about him. He was a great man with vast knowledge and left quite the legacy. Others took logging jobs for low wages. The Mi'kmaq people were greatly influenced by the Catholic Church. A Catholic church was established at Metis in 1908. Mi'kmaq had practiced the Catholic religion for 200 years. They had mostly maintained ties to the church through French priests from St. Pierre. Regular contact with an English priest, though, vastly changed their culture. A priest and businessman, Father Stanley St. Croix, stationed in Metis in the interwar years, established a mill at St. Albans, which benefited the local population with work and coupons for his store. But that is not the great effect that he had on the people. Due to his influence as a priest, he had economic sway over many people. He also abolished the office with the chief of the Mi'kmaq band, and the chief and his family then left for Nova Scotia. He forbade the use of Mi'kmaq language in both school and church, which further eroded Mi'kmaq culture. Later on in this course, we will learn about the revival and education of the Mi'kmaq language and the reclaim of what was taken from them. Now it's time to review. I'm going to ask you to complete the activities in Brightspace below, and I hope you have a great day.